Welcome to Stayf Draws. I'm Stayf from the Groot, a Dutch artist, but you can call me Stayf. In this video I'm going to do a review about a book series, and I'm now going to cover the second book in the series. The series is called They Drew as They Pleased, and it's all art of Disney artists that worked at the story department at the Walt Disney Studios. This book is called They Drew as They Pleased, The Hidden Art of Disney's Musical Years, the 1940s, Part 1. I hope you enjoy it. The author Didier Ghez has made two books about the 1940s because in this time the Walt Disney Studio produced the most animation. There was too much art and too many great Disney artists that could fit in one volume. This book was published in 2016 by Chronicle Books and has 208 pages. It has a foreword by Disney director John Musker. The artists featured in this volume are Walt Scott, Nielsen, Sylvia Holland, Retta Scott and David Hall. Their art influenced such classics as Dumbo, Bambi, Fantasia, Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan. The book starts out with a segment about a scene from Fantasia that never saw the light of day. The Bug Orchestra. What I love about this book series is that it shows art of sequences that would never end up on screen. Walt Disney was always looking for the best story to tell, and this sequence did not fit into Fantasia. This sequence would be set to the music of the Nutcracker Suite. There were several artists that worked on this sequence, but the art of Walt Scott is featured here. It shows an orchestra of bugs playing the music. As endearing the art is, it would not fit into the overall movie. This sequence was shelved and replaced by the fairy sequence. In 1939, the Danish illustrator Nielsen started working at the Walt Disney Studio. He was at that time one of the most famous children's book illustrators around. He illustrated 1001 Night and Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales. In 1936 he moved to California to do designs for the theater. Desperate for work, he went to the Disney Studio to apply for a job. He was hired at the spot and started working on the concert feature Fantasia. When he started working at Disney, the timing was perfect. They were already in production for Fantasia, and Nielsen made designs for the sequence Night on Bald Mountain. His dark and eerie style was perfect for this sequence. He also worked on visuals for the short The Reluctant Dragon. Here you can see the Chinese influence. He also worked on early concepts for The Little Mermaid. Nielsen also made studies for Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries that was never produced. Nielsen left the studio in 1941 and Nielsen returned to the Disney Studios for the last time in 1952 to work on visuals for Sleeping Beauty. This was only for 6 months. In 1957 he sadly died in poverty. Sylvia Holland started working at the Disney Studios in 1938. She was born in England in 1900. She studied architecture in London and met her husband there. In 1925 they moved to Victoria, British Columbia. But her husband died of an ear infection in 1928. She never married again and was determined to be independent. When she was hired by Disney, she started working in the story department. She was one of the most versatile artists, working on the Pastoral Symphony and drawing a lot of centaurs. Holland thrived at the studio and started working on the Nutcracker Suite, especially the waltz of the flower sequence. Here you see the amazing color studies she made. Just look at this astounding concept drawing. Holland also worked on the Little April Shower sequence for Bambi. The initial idea for Fantasia was that new segments would be added. There are several projects that never got made. In the late 40s there was a strike at the Disney Studio. Union demanded a 25% raise for all the employers. Disney lost distribution to Europe and Fantasia and Bambi were a failure. In 1946 a lot of artists at Disney were fired. Also Sylvia Holland. After Disney she worked for MGM and became a successful commercial artist. She passed away in 1974. Retta Scott was the first woman Disney animator. Beside her work as an animator, she also worked as a story artist. Together with Bianca Majoli, Sylvia Holland and her friend Mary Blair, they were the influential women in the story department. Scott was born in Oak, Washington in 1916. She was very creative at a young age. In 1938 she was hired at Disney and started to work on storyboards for Bambi. She boarded the scene with the hunting dogs. The director Dave Hand and Walt Disney were so impressed by her strong drawings of the dogs and deer that they wanted her to animate the scene as well. She made a test animation and that was used in the movie. She also animated some scenes of the centaurs in Fantasia. She also appeared in the movie The Reluctant Dragon together with Robert Benchley. After the strike at Disney she was laid off and later rehired. Scott was best friends with Mary Blair and the influence on the style is evident. She worked on other projects like Penelope and Toinette's Philip, but these features never got made. She got married in 1946 and left the studio to work as a freelance illustrator. The last artist featured in this book is David Hall. An inspirational drawing he made of Peter Pan is on the cover of this book. David Hall only worked for a few months at Disney. David Hall was born in Ireland in 1905. In the 20s the family moved to Los Angeles where Hall studied art. In March 1939 he was hired at the Walt Disney Studio story department at the old Hyperion studio. He made some sketches for Bambi but soon started working on Alice in Wonderland. Here are some inspirational sketches he made for Alice. A movie that would be made 13 years later. His art is quite expressive and comes close to the original illustrations of John Tenniel. He mainly used ink and watercolors to make these illustrations. After Alice in Wonderland, Hall also worked on early concepts for Peter Pan. With lush brush strokes and an eye for detail, these drawings are quite exceptional. They could be illustrations for a picture book. David Hall left the studios in 1940 and continued to work for other studios as a visual developer. This book is still available on Amazon. I will leave links below this video. I've also made a video review about the first volume of this book series. You can check the link in the description as well. I hope you enjoyed this video and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already and don't forget to hit that notification bell because each time I upload a new video, you get a notification. If you want to see all of the other books in the series, I did reviews of all of the books. I'll leave links below this video. Drawing is fun and practice makes perfect. See you next time. Doodles!